Hi, welcome to the kitchen. My name is Melissa. So today we're going to make fruit parfait. And parfait is a French word for a cold dessert. But this dessert I like to have in the morning because it's filled with protein such as cashews and fruit, blueberries and pears. So in order to start the recipe, we'll start first. You'll need a blender and you'll need 2 cans, or if you have fresh fruit, fresh pear, you'll need 2 cans of that, and you'll pour it into the blender with a little bit of its juice because it is sweet, so you don't want too much of that in there. And then we'll need a cup of raw cashews. And the cashews should be rinsed or boiled. If you prefer to boil them, then you need to do it at least soak it for about a half an hour. If you want to rinse it in cold water and then just let it sit for about an hour. And these are raw cashews, which are high in protein and very good for us. We'll put that in the blender. Put the lid on. So you want it at a consistency that looks smooth. And you shouldn't see any nuts. So that should be nice and creamy looking. Usually when they make the regular French parfait, they use cream and eggs. And we know cream and eggs is not something we want to do at the moment. So take a nice glass and fill it here. It's a very simple recipe, but it's high in protein and the children will love it. And then you can take your favorite fruit, topple that. If you have granola, you can do that as well. And you can use more than 1 or 2 types of fruit. Fill it again. And then add more fruit. Now we also use cardamom. Most people like to use cinnamon and sugar in their food, but we know cinnamon is very irritating to the stomach and the lining of the stomach. So cardamom is for medicinal purposes as well as flavor. You can just take a sprinkle on the top. It has a lovely fragrance. And voila, you have a fruit parfait. Can't wait to taste it. So we've just finished our fruit parfait, and let's take a taste. It's rich and creamy, best when cold, but if you place it in the fridge for about an hour, it's a wonderful dessert for the family or a breakfast item. So now we're going to transition into the Alfredo fettuccine. Okay? So since the fettuccine requires pasta, we are already boiling the water. And we're going to add a little salt because I like to add salt to the water to give the pasta a little taste. And it also helps it to boil a little faster. So as that is boiling, we're going to heat up our skillet with a little bit of olive oil. If you prefer not to use oil, you can use water. But what you want to do is saute some garlic. So we'll put a little garlic in the pan. About 3 tablespoons. This recipe requires 8 to 10 ounces of gluten-free pasta, 3 tablespoons of olive oil, grapeseed or avocado, whichever is your preference, 4 cloves of garlic, minced, 1 3/4 cups of unsweetened almond milk. It must be unsweetened, not the vanilla kind. 1/4 teaspoon of red pepper flakes, that's optional, and a bag of peas. Since we're using the green, I just regarded as the peas. But if you use a white pasta, the peas give it a nice color with the red pepper flakes. You'll also need 4 tablespoons of arrowroot powder, and that is used in place of flour. It also has medicinal properties and is healthier than using flour or cornstarch. 1/2 teaspoon of salt and cayenne pepper, 4 to 6 tablespoons of nutritional yeast flakes, 1.5 teaspoons of garlic powder, and 1/4 cup of vegan Parmesan cheese. And that's also optional but if you want a more cheesier flavor, you'll use that. All right, let's get started. The water's boiling for the pasta. Make sure you have enough water, almost double the amount so that your pasta does not stick together. I like to use the claw because you can lift up your pasta and see how it's cooking. You can squeeze it and see. You want it almost al dente, not fully cooked. All right, so first we're going to start with sauteing our garlic. So I've cut 4 cloves of garlic. I'm going to wait for the oil to heat up a little more. While that's doing that, I'll stir my pasta. And this is a beautiful green color here. Have fun with your pasta. They come in so many colors. Okay, the oil's heating up. Okay, so now we can add 4 cloves of garlic. Now you need to watch garlic as it cooks because it does cook fast and it can burn. So we want to make sure that we're not doing that. Once your garlic starts to cook, you turn down the flame to a low setting. Once you reduce the heat, you want to add 4 tablespoons of the arrowroot powder. And it looks like cornstarch, but it is not. I don't know if you see how the garlic is cooking, but it's simmering. So now we want to add the arrowroot. Once we add the arrowroot, we have to stir because it starts to combine with the garlic rather quickly. And you whisk that for about a minute. This is a great tool for the kitchen because it breaks everything apart and keeps it separated. Okay, this recipe also calls for 2 cups of milk, but you're going to add 1/4 cup at a time. So I'll start that now. And you want to make sure that the pieces are broken up. Cook it for about a minute until you reach 1/3 and 1/4 cup. Once you reach there, you'll check the consistency to see if it's what you really desire. Check our pasta. Not quite cooked yet, so we'll wait for that. It is gluten-free, so it doesn't take as long as a regular pasta. And I'm going to add 1 more 1/4 of a cup and leave the rest for later. And we're stirring the whole time. So garlic is also good for our intestinal tract as well, as we all know, and it kills parasites. That's a good thing. Once it's clump free, We're going to transfer it to the blender. Leave your flame on because you will have to bring this back to the stove. So I want to make sure I get everything that's in here. Just swirl it around a little bit. Pour it slowly into the blender. Okay, once it's in the blender, we'll add the salt. Himalayan salt we use. If you have Celtic, that's even better. It has a higher mineral value, but Himalayan is just as good. We'll add pepper. I like to use cayenne pepper, another medicinal. We want our food to taste good, but we also want it to be nutritious and do something for the body. And you just need a pinch of the cayenne pepper because it packs a punch. We'll add the yeast flakes, 4 to 6 tablespoons. The cheesier you like it, the more yeast flakes you'll add. And the garlic powder. And this is vegan Parmesan cheese. You can buy this at Whole Foods or anywhere else you want to. It's called vegan Parmesan cheese. And there's no cheese in here. This will give it the flavor that we'd like. And you can also add that at the end. So we'll put it in the blender and we'll blend. Okay, you can see that. And then we'll want to put this back into the pot. And you see it already looks cheesy. No nuts involved, so if you have someone who's allergic to them, they don't need it for this recipe. Scrape all of it off because it doesn't make so much. You'll have to double the recipe if you're making it for a large amount of people. And allow that to cook as we wait for our pasta to finish cooking. Let's check the pasta. Oh, it's almost done. Okay, so now we're going to taste this cheese sauce and see if it's the way we like it. Delicious. All it needs is the pasta. So now that our cheese sauce is cooking, we'll take the pasta and we'll add it to the cheese sauce and make sure it's fully covered. At this point, you can turn off the flame, and this is best tasting when it's hot. You don't want to reheat this. You want to eat it as soon as it comes off the skillet. Look at that, fettuccine, and no enzymes and no real cheese. Isn't that delicious? Your children will love this. You can add a little bit of pepper flake. We have red pepper flakes here. You just want to add a little bit for a little kick, a little punch, and a little color. And fettuccine Alfredo is done. Let's taste. Lunchtime. Thanks for joining us.